Hello, Matt Yonkovit with another quick hit. So this quick hit is why should you consider a multi-cloud or should you at all? And so we wanted to take a few minutes to just talk about this. Now, that is a good question. A lot of people are talking about, do you need a multi-cloud strategy? And a lot of them want to know, do you really want one at all? Right? And so this is a critical question a lot of people are struggling with. And what we've seen in our data, as I pointed out earlier, is that multi-cloud growth is becoming more of a new reality. So when you look at our survey data so far this year versus last year, we've seen a 9% increase in the number of companies that are deploying a multi-cloud strategy. And this is nothing new. If you look at headlines today, you can see that multi-cloud deployments and strategies are a common thing. And in fact, a lot of cloud providers are now starting to promote their cloud software as a hybrid or multi-cloud in order to capture more market share. And this is an important thing to understand because this is a trend that they're starting to see and they're trying to capitalize on as well. So this is a reality now. Now, some points to consider when you're considering a multi-cloud strategy. So the first point is it's probably already happening to you. A lot of our data shows that people inherit multiple cloud systems or multiple applications running in multiple clouds, and that's how they first get into the multi-cloud strategy. So you probably have a couple of development teams or a couple of business units that are already running in a different cloud than what you might have standardized on. So this shadow IT type of problem has existed for a long time. There's a lot written on it, so it's already happening to you. Now, one thing you're going to realize pretty quick is, at least initially, this is going to increase the complexity of your systems. And it is going to cause, some heartburn for some folks, because when you're trying to deal with using competing APIs or different application stacks, and infrastructure as a service stacks in multiple locations and multiple providers, it will increase the complexity, even if it is just a smidge. But it really impacts the team, because if you've got certified AWS engineers and all of a sudden you start to inherit things that require Azure or Google, that means that your teams need to start to come up to speed with those tools as well. So realize this is going to increase the workload for your teams, at least at the start. And your costs are probably going to go up as you start to experiment here and figure out what the best solution and best combination is. Also very important to consider. So why even then consider this? So number one, because you have to, right? As I mentioned, a lot of companies have a lot of technology that they have been forced to adopt or inherit. So you probably already have some databases or some things that are running on multiple cloud providers already. And so you're going to have to deal with it. But that's not the primary reason. The primary reason most people are looking at this is really more of an insurance play. So they want to ensure that they have, portability between cloud providers in case, costs raise, or, in case, things in one provider move more rapidly in terms of adoption or new technologies. But you also have protection, right? And we're not talking just about security protection here. We're also talking about the protection from outages. And we all know that, big systems, big infrastructures do have outages. So being able to run a mission critical application across multiple providers, if one provider goes out, you still can service your customers and they won't notice a disruption. That is the nirvana, that is the goal. And if you can make that happen, then you need to make that happen in order for your business to survive. And that gets to this business continuity piece. If you think about most companies and most database infrastructures, we've had business continuity plans and high availability plans forever. How many times have you gone through a DR test failing over between data center 1 and data center 2, and ensuring that your critical systems will still work? It's the same thing here. You're just using multiple cloud providers and public cloud providers to maintain that. And so we're seeing that growth there. So the business continuity and ensuring that you can go between cloud providers and survive those outages is critical for many businesses to survive. And protecting that business and protecting your revenue stream, that is the primary reason people are looking at this, right? Not only do you have to, you're being forced to, but you're starting to realize that as an outage happens or a slowdown happens or something happens within one provider, having that protection to go to another provider is mission critical. And so long-term costs can also start to be mitigated, because as cloud providers compete on price, and they do, you're going to see that having some portability gives you some flexibility in where your costs are and how much you're spending. So how do you be successful in this multi-cloud world? And so there's a couple things. Number one, you need to invest and find the tools that ease the management of running everywhere, right? And so as you start to find new providers of software and tooling, ensuring that they have the ability to support multiple cloud providers and have a single interface for your employees and your staff to manage their databases and their environments is going to be critical. And adopting new technologies to help manage that at scale is also critical. You've seen, for instance, the growth of Kubernetes. And Kubernetes is really about helping to manage that in large-scale environment across multiple technology stacks, multiple locations. So adopting that technology, looking at more of that kind of quote-unquote cloud-native type services, that's critical to ensuring that you can move to a multi-cloud strategy with minimal interruptions. You also have to think before you leap. A lot of people here are going to just jump in and I'm going to do multi-cloud, but it is like anything else, a complex problem, and it could cost you more, or it could cause more heartburn if you're not prepared for it. So prioritize portability and plan for it, right? So as you think and you plan this out, make sure that your applications, your systems, they're designed and understand that they have to be portable. And sometimes that means making a trade-off. Sometimes you might choose to use open source software or services that are portable between providers, as opposed to locking into a provider's compatible or slightly proprietary software or software as a service. And that is our recommendations on multi-cloud strategy and how to be successful in 5 minutes or so. Thanks a bunch.